No, she schooled me in that rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, you see that meme? It's like, have you ever dreamed of
Alright,
this?
cool. And one of the things I like to do, or what I've been doing to break the ice, is I just ask, where you're from, how'd you hear about it, how'd you get here, your mode of transportation, so to speak, and then we'll dive into everything after that.
Alright. So I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I heard about this show because I follow Jet's Instagram because I like his music. So that's how I heard about it, and I got here through a plane.
No kidding. You fly to TF Green?
Yeah.
Okay, TF Green. Makes sense. Neat. So before you came here, what did you have going on, relatively speaking?
I had a pretty shitty job, and I quit it to come here. 'Cause finding a job will let you take 6 weeks off is
Yeah. No, fair. So okay, so you're like Letty, and you got kind of just was like, all right, and even Daniel for that matter, just like, okay, this is gonna mean something. I'm doing this. Neato, and then okay, so one part at some point, we're gonna probably the idea was maybe you guys are gonna be able to use your notes to at some point, but what we're gonna actually do instead is there's like a part of this segment where I'm gonna like just ask like, okay, what would you do if you win the money, or if you don't win the money, kind of thing, and then kind of preface it under the impression of like, okay, what did you learn from the different discussions while you guys are eating hot dogs and stuff to like, can you apply it? And so basically the way I'm doing this is I'm assessing it by whether or not you like remembered mostly everything, whether or not you can apply it to what you might have going on after the fact. And now here's the thing, there's like 10-12 minutes. We're not going to jump into it right now, we're just going to kind of get to know you a little bit more. But I just wanted to emphasize like feel free to like, we just want to see if you can apply this, right, to what you learned. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to say, just at this point, those notes right there, are you going to be able to turn that around and write extra notes if you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's kind of what, like, if you need to, you can write any notes. But don't feel like nobody necessarily had to write any notes at any point today. Just to be clear, but nobody was allowed to review their notes, so to speak. It was kind of like if it wasn't explained before, it was kind of supposed to be a situation where you could review them before you got into the interview.
Okay.
So that's why I was kind of being like, there was no rhyme or reason to who goes first. Just study what you learn.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But that being said, yeah. So you happen to know Jet through Instagram, Twitter, Instagram, and Jet works for Sam Hyde, obviously, if we're not mistaken, in this whole instance. And what of Sam Hyde? You got to get to know him a little bit. Like, what is it about Sam that like stands out to you about this event? Anything that you learned that's kind of like revelations or not? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure how much I know about him truly, because every time he comes in here, he's Jason, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's always, I've learned that he likes destroying the house, I guess.
Okay, yeah, it's real. That's real. It's kind of hard to ignore that. One of the things that came up was how this is like a dysfunctional like family house that like you're just an individual in, and I think like a lot of people would resonate with that. And actually, we asked like Letty how she like was. I've asked everybody like how they cope with it, and maybe this would be a good thing to ask you now. Like, is there, there's a lot of. It's kind of hard to know how to get a competitive edge, right? There's a huge payout. It's only getting mistakes are going higher, but yet every second you're here, there's huge exposure, right? So, kind of like how you holding up, Josie?
I'm doing good. It takes a lot for something to really affect me, so nothing has really bothered me too much yet.
Nah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So cool. Do you think like what you're being exposed to right now is something that like you want to engage after all of this, regardless of what comes of it?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of TTS messages, people that want to commission me for stuff, and I think that's great because I wasn't getting that many before. Wasn't good at putting myself out there.
Yeah. So when you say that, like as I understand, like Daniel, Sylvia, John, those three kind of have like a foundation of like what they're leveraging with their skills and stuff like that. So are you learning kind of from everybody? Like is this like much appreciated? Like Cool. And do you feel like you're like an underdog for that? Just as like a curiosity? Like I'm not projecting. I'm just curious. Like how do you feel about it?
I felt like an underdog since the very first day. We voted and then they were all like, Josie's gonna be first one out.
No way. Like amongst all of you in the group? Oh no. What did you say? Did you think you were gonna be one of the first ones? No. You had your own suspicions. Who did you think was gonna go?
I thought it was gonna be John because everyone was dogging on him the first day, but they've grown to love him, so I'm not sure anymore.
Oh yeah, it's one of those shows that this is like uniquely like different than reality TV. It's unreal. I've never done what I'm doing under these settings. So we'll see what that means. I don't know what's gonna come of that. It's stressful. But if you can imagine, it's really cool to think of what you have an opportunity for. So basically, let me just check the time real quick. All right, cool. We got good time. You got a chance for basically. It sounds like it's gonna go up from 30K. Risk going up. You win 30, 40, 50K. What's Josie doing?
Well, I don't have my savings, so most of it's going to that, and any bit left is going into the business I want to start up. Like making it better. Because I already kind of have it, but it's starting to get serious, and I need to figure that out.
Yeah. When you say serious, I kind of know what you mean by that. It's cool to have a sense of like relying on what you're doing now, but it's better to like recognize things are going to change. So how are you taking anything that I taught from today? Anything you're applying? What is it? How's it fitting?
One of the first days we were talking about LLCs, and I learned that in school, and that's one of the things I have to look into when I get home. So I was supposed to look into it before I came here, but I canceled my event to come here. So
what was the event?
Like art show, car show thing where I was selling, and I'm starting to have to look into like my business licensing and stuff. Yeah,
so you can take that a little bit more seriously, right? Yeah, definitely. You got to keep in mind that there's tax benefits and there's a few other like.
Because the LLC one is like, that's the one where it's like separate from you, right?
Exactly. I mean, a lot of the different when you apply for a business license in a lot of countries, countries, but in the States too. But the point of getting. Becoming a business is going to structure how the money is supposed to be operated, and then from there, depending on how you apply by the rules of what you predicate, if you set up your business on your own, is going to affect whether or not the government or anybody could attack you for it, right? And so, that even, so that's why, sometimes like you'll hear John say, a business is like an asset. But sometimes they can be considered a liability. If that company, if you don't handle it right, it becomes like detrimental. So you wanting to know about all that and being curious of that, there, you know, let's be clear. What form of support team do you have to help with any of this?
It's just me right now, but I
It's
mean,
just
I
you.
can always rely on my family. So,
What do you mean by that?
like
you
they
can't?
help me.
They've
They've
been
helping me start up too. You know.
Yeah, no, cool. So I was just curious. I mean, some people can't even like. I don't know how to explain it, but the point is, that's cool. So my thing is, it sounds like you are in a position to take some skills that you genuinely have right now, and you can get some people that are behind you. You know, kind of like your family and whatnot. But more specifically, maybe you can go find some mentors that can help you. And I'll put it to you like this. I was talking with John, and John said how like the mentors were how do I phrase this? They were people that he just started necessarily working for up front. And then they kind of took a liking to him because of his, his effort and skill and whatnot, to the effect that then he maintained a rapport.
So maintaining relationships with people.
Yeah,
People.
And kind of like networking, right? And kind of trying to engage you as in, you know, does Josie have networking skills? And that was like a formula. Let's just be clear. So you can maybe, if we want to take the time, the point was, he said how specifically he like maybe worked for somebody that he respected, and so in other words, I was saying to him, hey man, like an internship, and it was like, yeah, cool. That's kind of what it could be. So it's kind of like that's maybe step one. Kind of find someone that you think is competent. And that, you know, it can train you, so to speak, because maybe you learn one way versus another, to the effect to say like, okay, cool, that's cool. Now, can you like maintain a rapport with them? Do they have the time? Are they vulnerable like that or not? You don't know. Maybe they got like some sort of strict scenario. They can't commit to anything else, and you know, you gotta kind of. They gotta kind of understand your intentions. It's like, you know, like as a woman, you know, like when a guy comes around, you gotta know his intentions before you engage him, right? Or you won't engage him until you know what his intentions are, right? This is kind of like the same thing. You're kind of just trying to hit these people like that. Are, you know, they're treating you like that. Does that make sense? They're treating you like what are your intentions? Are you just trying to, you know, take advantage of me or not? Kind of just, you know, just like how you naturally experience. So there's just a slight little association I throw in there, and I'm just trying to be clear. Then I think that'll give you something to get behind, and you can, you know, does that make sense? Does that resonate with you at all? Like to the effect of like the more less concrete your ideas are, or the more the concrete they are, you gotta kind of adjust accordingly. And so, at this point, it's almost been 15 minutes. I think people have learned about you a little bit more from this experience. At this point, I actually did something where I gave you some advice. So at this point, I kind of want to ask, is there any advice that you can give to the audience? And I'm trying to have a Josie unique advice. So what would that be? Okay, well, here's it. How does Josie keep her composure? What is that? Like, there's something going on there. There might be a science behind it, or is there not? Like, what's going on with you?
I don't know how Josie keeps her composure. I've always just been quiet, but I think I have a lot of toys. And take it out on them, like these little fidget toys. It keeps me from freaking out.
Right. So it's kind of like, you know you.
Like, you can put your big feelings into something else. Like some people do art, like vent art, whatever, you know.
Yeah, and so and your family's kind of like on board with it. Your family's like cool and stuff like that. Like with you operating like that, it's pretty neat. I mean, I think the point here is to say that like we got like 8 seconds to speak about the ball. I think hang in there. I'm trying to be impartial to everybody. It was a good little interview. I think people got a chance to know you more, and it was nice meeting you, Josie. So we're gonna just let it be. I think you did your confessionals.
Yeah, I already did that.
So basically, I'm gonna go grab Vance, and you're gonna go and try to hope you win. Yeah, like however many weeks it is, but you're not done in 1 more week, as far as I understand. Thank you. Oh yeah, of course. All right. Last one up.